What's up, man? Let me take you for a little spin, man. Show you what it feel like.
I gotta go make these drop rolls.
Man, you think you're the only one out here working, B? Gotta make drop rolls too, B. Come on, man, get in, man. I ain't taking no for an answer, man.
Come on, man, get in, man. I ain't taking no for an answer. Welcome back to the No Cap Podcast. On this edition of the No Cap Podcast, we're gonna do a NBA 2021-22 season preview. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna hit on a couple of the top stories pertaining to top teams and just the top stories around the league, period. Before we get into all that, I just need you all to do me a small favor. Whether you may be listening to the No Cap Podcast, we're available on all major platforms. You can now catch the No Cap Podcast on Hidden City Radio Monday through Friday at 1 p.m.com. That's on hiddencityradio.net. Make sure y'all check that out. Check out the Facebook page, Instagram, like all that shit. Appreciate it. But we're going to get right into it. No Cap Podcast, NBA 21-22 season preview. It's starting off with no bubble. No bubble. Some teams are allowing fans. Some teams aren't. I don't know the exact protocol that the Chicago Bulls is taking as far as COVID-19 goes, but as far as the bubble goes, that a lot of people saw at the end of last season, and to resume the season, it won't start as that. It'll just be regular teams playing in their regular stadiums. With that being said, also, there will be no All-Star game this year. It will be All-Star selections. I don't know if they'll still have like the All-Star festivities as far as the dunk contest and three-point contest and all that. But as far as the NBA All-Star game goes, there will be no NBA All-Star game this year. And forgive me, but I'm not even sure of the exact dates. It's going to be an All-Star break though. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a break in the games and in the season. But as far as a actual All-Star game being played, there will be no All-Star game this year. Let's slide on to the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls hired Billy Donovan as the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. He was formerly the coach of the Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, with Russ and KD. I think he couldn't get them no further than the Western Conference Finals, if I believe, when Durant was up 3-1 on when they was up 3-1 on Golden State, and they let Golden State come back, and then the next season Durant ends up taking his talents to Oakland. So in my opinion, I don't think Billy Donovan is an upgrade. Well, he's an upgrade from what we had, but as far as getting the Bulls anywhere, I'm not seeing it happen. We got a half decent core, as far as, because they dropped the ball on Larry Lockman. If he was what he was supposed to be, or what his potential could have allowed him to be, we would have probably been in a better position, or at least in a better position to trade him, because he has some type of trade value. But in my eyes, he's not worth anything but a wasted high draft pick. But other than that, we still got Zach LaVine, and we got Cody White. Chris Dunn left for Atlanta on a 2-year, $10 million deal. So as far as Zach LaVine and Cody White go, I think they ballers. I think that'll be the best starting point that we can have as an overall team, just as far as what we got left, because Larry Lockman ain't shit. But I don't know, we'll have to see. They got they 1-1 right now in the preseason. They played Houston twice. They lost one and won one. Houston looking okay considering the circumstances, but they still had no James Harden on the floor. So, and it's still preseason, so you can't put too much stock into that. So moving on to the next team, we got the Brooklyn Nets now. I'm not a bandwagon rider, and I'm not a big fan of Kevin Durant or Kyrie. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Durant because of the way he left OKC and Russell Westbrook. I feel like that was a bad way to go out. Like I don't blame him for switching teams, you know what I'm saying? But as far as going to the team, he was just up 3-1 on them. They was just beating y'all head in the last 2 years. Y'all was up 3-1 on them, and they came back and lost, and you go to the team that beat you 3-1. And people always try to compare KD to LeBron, but it's not the same. The way you will be able to compare KD to LeBron in that situation is if LeBron signed with if he signed when he was with Cleveland, if he would have signed with Boston so he can get a ring. That would have been the same thing as what the fuck KD did, but that's just my opinion on the situation. And then as far as Kyrie Irving goes, like I was Uncle Drew, that was my homie. For real, like I fucked with Kyrie heavy. Just for the simple fact that, you know what I'm saying, him and LeBron did some great things in Cleveland together, and I thought they played real well. And before him and LeBron even played together, I was an Uncle Drew fan. Like he had this thing on YouTube where he used to go to, regular parks, regular basketball, like open courts and shit, open gyms and shit, dressed up as an old man named Uncle Drew. He'd get in the game. At first he'd get in the game like he ain't know shit, you know what I'm saying? Like he can't hoop, like he old and shit, but then as the game go on, he'll bust out Uncle Drew and get the dunking on motherfuckers and cooking and shit. So that's one of the ways I became a fan before the LeBron James relationship. But just as of recently, he been tweaking like real live, like as far as the calling the media pawns and saying that the earth is flat, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't blame him for saying the earth is flat, because if you ever looked into the situation, it is some things you be like, damn, I don't know, baby, that motherfucker is flat. But once you really do, you know what I'm saying, your research, you gonna get the facts in order, and they're pretty easy to get. Now, as far as people going to the moon, we can have a whole nother discussion about that, but as far as the earth being round and not flat, I'm pretty sure it's round. And I'm pretty sure Kyrie know that now. But, and then just like the little slick comments he had made, like he had said, like Durant was the clutchest player that he's ever played with. After LeBron made you a champion, you gonna say KD, the clutchest player you ever played with? After LeBron made you a champion, let me remind you that before LeBron came back to Cleveland, Kyrie had never played a full season in the NBA. Before LeBron came to Cleveland, Kyrie had never even sniffed the playoffs. And then let's look at it since Kyrie and LeBron have separated. What has Kyrie done compared to what LeBron has done? Kyrie has gone back to his old ways. Not playing 4 seasons. He didn't been on 2 different teams since. And it's like the reason he stayed at none of it wasn't because of really basketball reasons. It was because chemistry reasons. People didn't like playing with him. So, but as far as how they looked in his first preseason game, god damn, Durant is back 100%. Kyrie, he looks like he's 100%. So with that being said, I mean, the East is for they taking. The East is for they taking. As far as their competition in the East, I don't see. Nah, including the Greek Freak. I think Miami had a good run last year considering the circumstances of them being in the bubble, but I don't think Miami gonna be the type of team that they was in the playoffs last year, and I think the East is for Brooklyn taking. Durant might be MVP of the league. Steve Nash might be coach of the year. But we'll see how it all unfold. While I'm talking about Steve Nash also is first time head coach. He's a 2-time league MVP. I know he's a first time head coach, but he's been in the background. He was Durant's shooting coach in Oakland when he played for the Warriors. So that's where that relationship comes from a little bit. When, a few weeks ago, Kyrie had came out and he was like, ain't no head coach. He was like, we all the coach, we all the boss. He's like, one night KD might be the coach. One night I might be the coach, but I just saw today he opened up and talked to the media and he retracted those statements. So we're gonna see how Steve Nash doing his first season as a head coach for the Brooklyn Nets, even though he shouldn't really have a job. I mean, cause I feel like with Mark Jackson still being available, every notable job should go through Mark Jackson first. Like, he should get first deal. Like, he wanted the job before, because Mark Jackson, he basically built the Warriors, and people be forgetting that. Like, Steve Kerr walked into a team that was already basically there. Some tinkering here and there, but the core as an overall, Mark Jackson was going to get them to the finals eventually. That's why. And then next up I had Kyrie says he's not talking to the media for the rest of the season, but like I said tonight, he decided to open up after calling the media pawns. And he said when he made the pawns comment, it was for the media who tries to take their comments and their questioning outside of the art. And he says basketball is his art. So that was his, he says, reasoning about that. Before we leave the Brooklyn Nets, I got, should they trade for James Harden? At first I thought they was, because, you know, everybody just want to be LeBron beaters. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta do whatever you gotta do to be a LeBron beater, even if that means adding KD to Stephen and Clay. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you gotta do to be a LeBron beater, they gonna do that. So, at first I thought they was, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure that they solidified they supremacy over the Lakers on paper. But it's looking like they like the core that they have over there in Brooklyn, and it's not bad. Like I said, even though it's preseason, it's just a couple games, they was looking good. You know what I'm saying? The chemistry was looking good for what it was. You know what I'm saying? The young players was looking good for what they are, and KD and Kyrie is KD and Kyrie. So, like I said, I'm predicting Brooklyn to come out the East right now. If you know me, you already know who I got coming out the West with the Lakers. So we looking at a LA New York finals. You know what I'm saying? That'll be decent. You know what I'm saying? But until then, moving right along to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets over the summer acquired, well, I don't even know if you can call it over summer no more, but over the offseason acquired Boogie Cousins and John Wall. Both players have been on a hiatus. John Wall longer than Boogie Cousins, but in their first couple preseason games, they are looking good. Especially John Wall, for how long he's been going 2 complete seasons and coming off the type of injury that he's coming off of. Not even to say that, like I said, with the injuries, even though they be catastrophic, like it's a new day and age, you know what I'm saying? Like back in the 90s, in the early 90s, late 80s, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? If a player tore his MCL and his ACL, his career was over. If a player tore his Achilles, his career was over. Now, you know what I'm saying? If a player have a catastrophic injury, it'd be about a year to get back on the court and 2 years to get back to who they was. So that's definitely what it's looking like for the John Wall and Boogie Cousins situation, just cause John Wall, he's still fast. Like I had seen him on Instagram working out, but you know, when they put the videos on Instagram and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Of course they're gonna put their best foot forward, but he definitely still got the speed. He's definitely still got the leap, you know what I'm saying? And he was out there creating. Boogie, he was on the floor. I didn't see too much physicality. I didn't like how they was playing him. I seen a lot of Boogie on the wing, a lot of Boogie taking shots. I think he's more effective in the paint. That's what I thought they had got him shit, cause you know, Mike D'Antoni basically and Daryl Morey basically traded away all the motherfucking, big men that they had. As far as like Dwight Howard, Clint Capella, you know what I'm saying? At one point, PJ Tucker was they five, and they had went like 21 games without winning the tip off. So, I assume that was the reason for them acquiring Big Cousins. So, and then too, James Harden didn't play. So that's probably a reason why he was a little bit spread out more like that. Cause, other than that, I just would have liked to see Boogie banging a little bit, more. Continuing with Houston, will James Harden be traded? It's still looking like he's not letting up on his trade request at all, despite the play of Boogie and John Wall. He still seems pretty, like he has his mind made up on leaving Houston. I feel like maybe he's seen this before, as far as the Dwight Howard and the Chris Paul and the Russell Westbrooks go. But all those acquirements was, you know what I'm saying, with his blessing, like players that he wanted them to bring in. So with that being said, I feel like he should at least give it one more year, especially the way Wall and Boogie looking in these first two games. I think it'd probably be decent. I mean, will it take down the Lakers? Of course not. And I don't think no team is going to be able to do that this season regardless. So, I mean, the only way the Lakers will be taken down this year is ain't no way, but they gonna go 7 games probably go 6 games with Brooklyn if Brooklyn get James Harden, but I don't see them making that move. As far as what Houston gonna do, I don't think they gonna trade him. I don't think they should trade him, because like he's still on the contract for 2 years, and we just built this team, new head coach, new GM. Let's just see how this go. One more year, Walter Bob, I'll pull him in. Let's see how this go. One more year. If this shit don't work, boom, we let you go. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? We let you have your, you know what I'm saying? We let you try to do your LeBron thing as far as getting who you want and shit like that, Walter Bob. So let us try this our time, you know what I'm saying? Because we still got 2 years on the contract, and then see where it go from there. But we shall see how things play out down there in Houston. Moving on to the West Coast, we got the Los Angeles Lakers after they coming off on the NBA championship. LeBron and AD are ranked number 1 and 2 in the NBA. They say expect little to no preseason play from both. Like I said, they're just coming off the NBA championship on a shortened season. So, and you know, LeBron not a big fan of load management, so I just predict him coming back when he's ready to play. And then he's probably advising AD to do the same thing. Will the Lakers repeat? I expect them to. I expect them to three-peat. If there's been rumblings for the last 2 years about a Bradley Beal acquisition. Bradley Beal is currently in Washington. Russell Westbrook, we're going to get into that next. But that's something that's been whispers about for the last 2 years of Bradley Beal possibly coming to the Lakers. Bradley Beal is from LA, I believe, and he has a home in LA. That's one of the two main connections. And then the third, after the John Wall departure, and then we're going to see how the Russell Westbrook experiment go, because, you know what I'm saying, Russell Westbrook supposedly can make motherfuckers feel any type of way. So depending on how that experiment goes, we'll probably, I'm pretty sure, weigh heavily on that decision. if they do get Bradley Beal, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to trade Kyle Kuzma, but who gives a fuck? I mean, he in the 2 preseason games against the Clippers, he was the best player on the court. So I'll give him that, but you know what I'm saying, I'm also gonna give him that as far as being a good trade asset to making my favorite team better. So if he goes, he goes, especially if that's what it takes to acquire Bradley Beal. If the Lakers acquire Bradley Beal, I have them not only winning the finals this year, but if they get Bradley Beal and everybody stays healthy, the Lakers will three-peat guaranteed. I'll take any bet against the field. Lakers in 5 against anybody. All right. Moving on from the champions, we got the Washington Wizards. How will Westbrook fit in Washington? I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I haven't watched a Washington game, even though, you know, I know Bradley Beal a hooper. I'll watch some Bradley Beal highlights before I watch a Washington Wizards game. So, that's definitely something I'm gonna have to do my homework on as far as the Russell Westbrook and, Bradley Beal pairing. As far as they haven't played together in the preseason so far, but they saying all the right things. So, with that being said, that's always something I say, with professional athletes, period. Like sometimes they're like, will this guy work? Will that guy work? And it's like at the end of the day, they professionals and their job is to put the ball in the rim, and both of them are prolific at what they do. So, it should work. I'm not sure 100% sure on the surrounding pieces they got up there in Washington, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Will it be enough for Bradley to make Bradley Beal want to stay? That's another thing that we just gonna have to wait and see as far as how the Russell Westbrook experiment goes, because like I said, you know what I'm saying, Russ can make a motherfucker wanna do one thing at one moment and do something else different. So, you know, that's only one thing we're gonna have to wait and see. Will the Wizards make any noise in the East? I don't know, man. I mean, if the experiment works with Russell Westbrook, they should be I see them being like a fifth seed, no less than you know what I'm saying, at the worst fighting for the 8th spot, but I doubt that. And, Russell Westbrook, he should be healthy, because even in his bubble play, that was one thing that a lot of people didn't know about Russ. When he played in the, when he was playing in the bubble, he wasn't 100%. So he should be 100% and ready to go. So we'll see how that work out up in Washington. Moving on from Washington, we got Golden State. Steph is back. Clay is still gone. Clay is gone for another year after turning his ACL, MCL, and playing pickup basketball out in LA. With that being said, I expect Steph to be in the MVP race if the Warriors got a winning record. If the Warriors got a winning record, Steph would be in the race for MVP hands down, just because he's Steph. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be shooting from 30. He's probably gonna be averaging 30. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see how the Warriors season play out. I'm not expecting them to make a true push. They might be fighting for that 6th, 7th, 8th seed, even though the big man they drafted, he might be a generational talent. Draymond Green needs to show that he's still Draymond Green, because over the last 2 seasons, and I've been looking good all around from him, from his defensive prowess all the way down to his shooting percentage from the 3 and from the field. So that'll definitely be something that'll depend a lot on how the Warriors season pan out, is if Draymond, what type of player he is starting this season. And like I said, Klay's out for another year, so that's definitely a big blow. I hope Klay comes back 100%, because he's had 2 catastrophics back to back. And you know what I'm saying? And it's similar to Boogie back to back, but you know what I'm saying? Boogie a pretty stationary player, and Clay, you know what I'm saying? He's always moving without the ball, so hopefully he's able to come back at 100% and get back to the Warriors. So I see the Warriors not being really a big threat for the next couple years. So after they had their little run, it seems to be coming to a drastic halt, especially after all these injuries and the KD departure. Andrew Wiggins definitely needs to step up. You know, a lot of scouts had compared him to Kobe coming out of Kansas. He definitely has a lot of potential, but a lot of NBA players have spoke on his heart to play the game. They say it's more of like a paycheck job for him. So hopefully being around the Warriors and that winning culture, they able to bring that dog up out of him, because Andrew Wiggins, he definitely has the potential. Does he have the potential to replace Clay? I doubt it. Clay is one of the best shooters in NBA history. So hopefully Steph and Kirk can get that inner dog back up out of him and have him play some all-star level basketball for the Warriors. Then they might be, you know what I'm saying, like I said, that 5th, 6th, 7th spot, you know what I'm saying, but only time will tell, and we'll see. Like I said, I expect Steph to be in the MVP top 5 for MVP races this year, just because of the role that he's gonna have to take on that team with all the losses they have to endure this season. Moving on to the the LA Clippers. Like I've been said, the Clippers are overrated because Kawhi Leonard is overrated. Let me explain something to my Kawhi Leonard Clipper fans. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard is a Finals MVP because he played defense on a man that averaged 28, 8, and 8. He won Finals MVP for playing defense on a man that averaged 28, 8, and 8. Let that sink in for you. Okay. After that sunk in for you, let's move on to point 2 on why Kawhi Leonard is overrated. Kawhi Leonard won final with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Greg Popovich. That's who he won finals with. That's a big 3 in his own. Kawhi Leonard got finals MVP just for playing defense on a man that averaged 28 and 8, playing alongside Hall of Famers, playing alongside multiple time champions. So it's not like Kawhi Leonard came to San Antonio and just changed their life for them like that. You think if it was like that, they would have traded him for DeMar DeRozan? I don't think so. But, you know, that's just want to put some fat on y'all heads, man. Like Kawhi, he can ball. Don't get me wrong. He might be top 5, top 10, but he's definitely overrated. When Kawhi won the last championship in Toronto, what I need you to understand about that is Toronto had already had the best record in the East the previous 2 years in a row. Toronto had already been to the Eastern Conference Finals the past 2 years in a row. But they was running into that Raptor killer. He was turning them baby dinosaurs as Shannon Sharp say. So they run into LeBron, you know what I'm saying? They boom, they decent ass team. If one for LeBron, the Toronto Raptors could have made 2 finals appearances in the East before Kawhi even came. So it's like Kawhi come and it's the perfect storm. LeBron leaves for the Western Conference. Boom. So the East is yours right there off bat. Then KD get hurt. Then Clay get hurt. So now you in the finals with this brick that's been basically the finals and basically the Eastern Conference Finals every year, getting bounced by LeBron James. The only reason they ain't get to the finals. You in there with this team were basically against your Steph Curry. You supposed to win that game. You supposed to win that series. I expect any superstar that's a superstar to win under them circumstances. So I never gave him, you know what I'm saying, too many flowers about that, because it wasn't that great of achievement. It wasn't like when LeBron beat the Warriors, when he had to go up against Steph, Clay, and Draymond in their prime at their peak. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I will give him his credit. And that's still hard, because that team, like I said, that team was still a brick. And the reason they beat the Greek Freak that year was more of a scheme, you know what I'm saying? The build the wall scheme. So it's like, you can only give Kawhi so much credit. I give him credit for that game winning in Philly though, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm still gonna take some credit away from that, cause that shit tipped in so fucking lucky. I'm sure like his ass was praying when that shit was going in. So, that's just my opinion on it, man. I feel like Kawhi's been overrated for a long time. Like when he got Finals MVP for playing defense on somebody that averaged 28, 8, and 8. Look it up. Like I said, they need a point guard. Still don't have a point guard. A lot of the rumor mill over the summer was a possible Rondo signing. That didn't happen. Rondo goes to Atlanta. So as far as I know, they still got Pat Bev running the point. That's not gonna work in this age of basketball. You need a scoring point guard that can score the ball from anywhere on the court. So hopefully they get that worked out some way, somehow. Paul George signs a max deal for over $200 million, but we all know Paul George ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? LeBron took his heart way back in Indiana, but as far as an all-star player, he is that. As far as the contract goes, they had to give him that because they basically mortgaged their future as far as the draft goes to get him. So to mortgage your future off in the draft and then not sign him long term would be a complete waste. He flopped in the finals, but not in the finals, in the playoffs, but their whole team did because of a lack of leadership on the court and off the court. Is Doc Rivers overrated? That's something we're going to talk about a little bit later. But like I said, that's just something that they had to do just to, make something worth of them picks that they gave up. And like I said, moving on to the Sixers, Doc Rivers overrated. Will he do something with the Sixers? I don't know. That's another thing we're going to have to wait and see, because, that's another team that's we not sure if they're quite done making the final moves that they're going to make before the season start. It's a rumor for a possible James Harden and, Ben Simmons swap. I think that'd be decent for Houston. As far as Philly go, James Harden ain't gonna do nothing but average 30, 40, and I think Joel Embiid to have a decent year. But as far as them making any noise in the East, I don't expect I don't have no great expectations for them. But as far as Ben Simmons goes with Houston, that'd be decent. You know what I'm saying? Just cause John Wall will make up for the shooting. Boogie ass don't like to play in the paint anyway. On shorty, so that should be a brick. You know what I'm saying? And then it all depend on what the new coach Silas is able to do up there with that. But this would definitely be a defining year for Doc Rivers, as far as his job goes, just because he really ain't did nothing since, leaving Boston after losing to Kobe. So, he definitely gonna have to show why, he's one of the best coaches in the NBA this year. We're going to see if they trade for Harden. That's definitely something we're going to keep our eyes open for. Like I said, I don't see Houston trading Harden, but, you know, we'll see, especially if you don't want to play. The worst thing you can have on your team is an unhappy superstar. So we'll see how that works out. Will they be better than the Nets? Like I said, we won't know until they done making they final move. So that's something we definitely have to come back and touch on a little bit later. Moving on to the Washington Wizards, with the Russell Westbrook experiment work in Washington. A lot of the things, I love Russ as a player. The only thing is he takes the worst shots. Like, Shorty be selling that shit on Shorty. Like, if any NBA player take NBA 2K shots, it's Russell Westbrook. Like, he on Shorty, he gonna jack that bitch up from wherever, whenever. And, I mean, him and Bradley Beal have been saying all the right things as far as, you know what I'm saying, it goes with them not having to play with each other yet. But, will that be enough for Bradley Beal to stay in Washington? I don't think so. I think Bradley Beal, his course has ran in Washington. I don't think he want to be in Washington. So I predict somehow, some way, the Bradley Beal to LA trade before the season is over. Possibly be something that takes place over the summer, just because, like I said, I have LA already winning the finals this year against anybody. LA in 5 against anybody. Taking that bet against anybody. Let me know. Get at me in the email. Get at me on the Facebook. Will they make any noise in the East? I don't think so, man. The East is pretty much so. You know, you got Brooklyn number 1. You probably got Milwaukee number 2. You probably got Miami number 3. And then we still waiting to see what happens with Philly. So, they can probably fight for an 8-7 spot. You know what I'm saying? If all is well. But that's another thing. We're just going to have to wait and see. Like I said, this is just a season preview. We're going to come back and we're going to rap about and see how all this shit play out. Next to last, we got the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, they acquired Chris Paul over the offseason to go down there with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton, he's probably like the last of the close to prototypical big man that we got in the NBA. But he's a solidified 7-footer and he a baller. And, you know, Chris Paul gonna always bring the best out the big men. So I think that was a good pairing. And then as far as just, Devin Booker being able to play off the ball a little bit more, cause he really a true shooting guard. So I think that's definitely gonna be an advantage. He might be in the race for All-Star, for the All-Star team. Overall, will they make some noise? Will they be in the playoffs? I can see them squeaking in the playoffs. It's gonna be tough. It's a team that I don't got on the schedule for today, but just looking at the box scores for the preseason games today, Zion and Ingram had a huge game. Today they scored like 50 points between the two of them, so that's something that we're gonna have to be on the lookout for. But he definitely gonna improve them. He definitely gonna make them better. They was a playoff team last year, so I can see them squeaking in the 6, 7, 8 spot this year. And like I said, that all depends on what's going on down there in New Orleans. And lastly, before I get up out of here, we're gonna touch on my favorite player that was drafted this year, the player that I feel like got the most potential coming out the draft. And that's LaMelo Ball. I think the greatest thing that could have happened for him in his career was getting drafted by Charlotte. Even though I didn't have that in my pre-draft, I didn't have him going to Charlotte, but just knowing that he's going down there with Mike and he gonna have Mike in his ear and just the type of player that he is, that ain't gonna do nothing but be an advantage to his career. So that's definitely something I can't wait to check out. I seen him in his first preseason game. He looked a little small, you know what I'm saying? He definitely gonna have to put some weight on. But, just looking at the scoreboards tonight, he has scored 12 in his second preseason game with a handful of assists. So, putting the ball in the basket is definitely going to be not an issue for him. It's just going to be them shooting percentages from 3. And, he definitely going to have to get a little bigger. But with all that being said, I can see him being offensive rookie of the year, or, just with that tutelage of being able to have Michael Jordan in your ear and being able to go talk to Michael Jordan, I think is going to be an advantage for him the type of player that he is. Can Charlotte make some noise? Not at all. The most noise they're going to make is the LaMelo highlights and LaMelo being offensive rookie of the year. But we'll see how this career pan out with Jordan tutoring him. So I see nothing but good things. Will he stay in Charlotte? I don't know. We'll talk about that a few years down the road. But I definitely expect big things from LaMelo Ball. I expect him to be better than Lonzo Ball. And then also LiAngelo is on the NBA roster. He was on, last time he was on, he had a DMP for the Detroit Pistons. So I definitely think he's going to be better than LiAngelo. LiAngelo is probably the most overrated ball. Like, if any of the balls got what they got today purely off the ball name, is LiAngelo. But I ain't mad at him. Get your money. Get your money, church. But, you know what I'm saying? That has been this installment of the No Cap Podcast, the NBA 2021-22 preview. Don't forget to like and subscribe and listen to my podcast whenever you don't got shit else to do. New episodes drop weekly. Find the No Cap Podcast on all major platforms and on Hidden City Radio Monday through Friday. In a minute, gang.
I get that bag from me. I put that tag on me. No, I be rocking V-Long like it's my tapestry. I don't know how to act. I got a bag on me. I got a rack on me. It ain't no cap on me. I smoke a pack, you see. My Latari Japanese. I come down again. I smoke some more and they come back to me. Like I'm from outer space. Marshall's running laps with me. I might got a pack on me. My niggas don't cap for me. 100 bands, drilling shit like Taliban. He don't want no smoke when I pull up, he do the running man. Yeah, he a funny man, I ain't no dummy man. I know that I be smoking, I might take a gummies in. I got that bag on me, I put that tag on me. No, I be rocking V-Long like it's my tapestry. I don't know how to act, I got a bag on me. I got a rack on me, it ain't no cap on me. That shit just seem right, all I know is green light. I pull out the glizzy and just show them what that beam like. I'll be up in the city, know a few shorties just trying to get with me. They wanna meet and I tell them I'm busy, pouring that Sprite and it's getting too fizzy, yeah.